Have you ever paused in the middle of your day and wondered, is this it? You've checked all the boxes, career, home, relationships, yet something feels missing. That quiet sense of emptiness isn't failure or ingratitude. It's a truth many women over 30 share. Society promised your 30s would be your prime, but reality is often a confusing mix of achievement and internal unrest. The world sees your highlight reel, not the late-night anxiety or soul-deep exhaustion. You're not alone. This is about giving voice to that unspoken question and exploring why so many accomplished women feel lost. Let's pull back the curtain and start finding a more authentic path forward. We're sold a story of what a successful woman's life should look like. Career, partner, children, perfect home. We hustle to assemble this picture, believing happiness will follow. But when the boxes are checked, fulfillment is often absent. The myth of having it all ignores the messy, evolving reality of being human. It pressures us to stick to a fixed identity, leaving no room for change or questioning. When the dream becomes a burden, it's time to ask, what truly matters to you? The journey begins when you admit the map you were given no longer leads where you want to go. Social media makes it seem like everyone else has it figured out, amplifying your sense of isolation. We silence our doubts, put on a brave face, and hide our struggles, fearing judgment. This pretense disconnects us from others and ourselves. But what if we broke the silence and spoke our truth? By sharing our struggles, we transform shame into connection and fear into empowerment. You're not alone. Thousands of women share this story. Let's stop pretending and start the real conversation together. Society hands women in their 30s a demanding script. Excel at work, have a perfect relationship, look youthful, be everything to everyone. These pressures are absorbed silently, becoming the background noise of your life. The need to appear effortlessly capable adds another layer of stress. You end up performing a version of womanhood that isn't truly yours. The crisis comes when exhaustion outweighs the fear of letting go. You realize the life built on invisible expectations isn't sustainable or fulfilling. This is the first crack in the facade, a necessary reckoning. In your 20s, goals are clear. Finish school, get a job, build independence. But in your 30s, dreams may no longer fit who you've become. Admitting old goals aren't meaningful can feel like betraying your younger self. Society offers little guidance for this identity shift. The path forward splinters, forcing you to ask what you truly want, apart from expectations. Integrating new roles and letting go of the old is daunting but necessary. Redefining yourself now is about who you are today, not who you thought you'd be. In previous generations, the primary source of comparison was your immediate circle, family, neighbors, and co-workers. While this could certainly create pressure, its scope was limited. Today, women in their 30s are navigating a far more vast and treacherous landscape of comparison, largely fueled by social media. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook present a highly curated and filtered version of reality. You scroll through endless feeds of engagement announcements, picture-perfect babies, stunning home renovations, and promotions to dream jobs. It is a constant 24/7 highlight reel of everyone else's perceived successes, broadcast directly into the palm of your hand. This relentless exposure to idealized lives creates a powerful illusion that everyone else has it all figured out, and you are the only one who is lagging behind. The comparison trap is insidious because it preys on your deepest insecurities. If you are single, every happy couple photo feels like a personal failure. If you are struggling in your career, every LinkedIn update about a friend's promotion stings. If you are wrestling with the decision to have children, every baby announcement can feel like a ticking clock. Social media amplifies the fear that you are behind schedule on a timeline that is entirely fabricated, yet feels intensely real and pressing. The problem is that you are comparing your behind-the-scenes reality, with all its messiness, doubt, and struggle, to everyone else's public-facing highlight reel. You do not see the arguments behind the smiling vacation photos. You do not see the crippling self-doubt that preceded the big career announcement. You do not see the loneliness and exhaustion that can accompany new motherhood. You are measuring your whole complex life against a tiny, polished sliver of someone else's. This is an unwinnable game, one that is designed to make you feel inadequate and perpetually dissatisfied with your own life no matter how much you have accomplished. This constant state of comparison erodes your self-esteem and joy. It keeps you focused on what you lack rather than what you have. Instead of celebrating your own unique path and progress, you are caught in a cycle of measuring yourself against an impossible standard. This external focus prevents you from connecting with your own authentic desires and accomplishments. The hidden crisis is intensified by this trap, as it convinces you that your feelings of being lost are a personal failing rather than a systemic issue exacerbated by modern technology. Escaping the comparison trap is a crucial step in finding your way back to yourself and appreciating the beauty of your own uncurated journey. One of the great promises of turning 30 is the arrival of a new, powerful form of confidence. You are supposed to have shed the insecurities of your 20s and stepped into a phase of self-assurance. You have more experience, both professionally and personally. You know yourself better, you have survived challenges and learned from your mistakes. In many ways, this is true. You are more competent, more resilient, and less willing to tolerate nonsense than your younger self was. You can handle a difficult client, navigate a complex social situation, and advocate for yourself in ways that would have once seemed unimaginable. However, this newfound competence creates a strange paradox. While you may feel more confident in your abilities, you also feel a heightened sense of responsibility and a deeper awareness of what is at stake. The decisions you make in your 30s feel weightier. Choosing a career path is no longer a youthful experiment. It can feel like a lifelong commitment. Decisions about relationships, family, and finances have long-term consequences that you are now acutely aware of. This awareness can be paralyzing. The confidence you have in your skills is often overshadowed by the anxiety you feel about making the right choices for your future. This paradox leads to a very specific kind of internal conflict. On the outside, you project an image of capability and control. You are the one people turn to for advice, the reliable friend, the competent employee. But on the inside, you're wrestling with a profound sense of uncertainty. You feel the pressure to have all the answers, both for others and for yourself, precisely because you are perceived as being so confident. Admitting that you feel lost or unsure seems like a contradiction to the very identity you have built. It feels like a failure to live up to the confident woman in her 30s archetype. This gap between your external presentation and your internal reality is a core element of the hidden crisis. You are trapped by your own competence. The strength that allows you to navigate the world so effectively also becomes a barrier to expressing your vulnerability. You wonder, how can I be so good at managing my life, yet feel so lost within it? This question is at the heart of the struggle. The confidence of your 30s is not a simple, unwavering state of being. It is a complex, layered experience full of contradictions. Acknowledging this paradox is the first step toward a more honest and integrated sense of self. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that settles into the bones of a woman in her 30s. It's this invisible burnout, a soul-deep weariness from the relentless demands of modern life. You juggle a demanding career, manage a household, and maintain family connections. This is the unseen, unpaid second shift that never truly ends. This burnout is sneaky because it masquerades as normal adult life. But here's the thing, your capacity is not infinite. It depletes your reserves until there is nothing left for yourself. The invisible burnout is the body's and mind's rebellion against this unsustainable expectation. It is a desperate signal that something needs to change. Navigating love and relationships in your 30s presents unique challenges. If you're single, you may feel like you're in a dating drought. On the other side is the fear of settling. Compromising your core needs out of fear of being alone can feel like a betrayal. This creates a painful crossroads. This phase demands self-trust. The prospect of being alone is a viable, peaceful option. Choose yourself. Trusting the right connection will add to your life, not complete it. One of the most jarring struggles for women in their 30s is the feeling of being betrayed by their own bodies. You might notice new lines or a shift in the way your clothes fit, small changes that feel like a profound departure from the body you have known. It can feel like you are suddenly inhabiting the body of a stranger. This is compounded by a world that is relentlessly obsessed with youth, creating a deeply personal war against your own reflection. Beyond aesthetics, there is the weighty pressure surrounding fertility. This feeling of bodily betrayal is profoundly isolating. The journey through this struggle is about learning to renegotiate your relationship with your body with kindness and acceptance. As you move through your 30s, a subtle shift often occurs within your social circle. The tight-knit friendships that defined your 20s can begin to fray. This is a slow, quiet drifting apart, driven by the diverging paths of adult life. The result is a new kind of loneliness. It is the loneliness of seeing your support system become less accessible. You can be surrounded by people, yet feel a profound absence of the camaraderie that once sustained you. Making new friends in your 30s also presents a different set of challenges. This friendship fade is an unspoken grief. Admitting you are lonely can feel like admitting a personal failure. The truth is that this is a near universal experience. Acknowledging this struggle is the first step toward actively nurturing the friendships that remain. The most insidious struggle is the internal monologue dominated by should. You have a good job, so you should be fulfilled. You have your health, so you should be grateful. This creates an internal crisis. Any discontent is immediately met with guilt. This tyranny of gratitude can be paralyzing. When you achieve those things and happiness doesn't materialize, you assume the fault lies with you. Breaking free is a radical act of self-compassion. You can be grateful while also feeling unfulfilled. The struggle ends when you stop telling yourself how you should feel and start listening to how you actually feel. Why do these struggles remain hidden? The primary reason is shame, the intensely painful feeling that we are flawed and unworthy. Shame thrives in silence, convincing you that you are utterly alone. We armor ourselves against this shame, building walls around our vulnerability. This armor feels like protection, but it also keeps us from being truly known. This performance is exhausting and contributes to burnout. Hiding our struggles perpetuates the myth that no one else is struggling. The only way to dismantle shame is to expose it to empathy. Lowering the armor and speaking your truth is one of the bravest things a person can do. Another force that silences women is the fear of seeming ungrateful. This makes unhappiness feel like ingratitude. Voicing struggles feels like a betrayal of your good fortune. So you swallow your feelings, fearing judgment. Others' responses amplify this, communicating that your feelings are invalid. It feels safer to hide struggles, risking being seen as selfish. Gratitude becomes weaponized, suppressing legitimate emotions. You can be grateful for a job and feel it drains you. Love your family yet feel overwhelmed. Denying discontent harms emotional health, keeping you stuck and quietly suffering. Shame and fear create a powerful unspoken agreement, a conspiracy of silence. We maintain the illusion that life is smooth and fulfilling. We say, "I'm good, busy," when falling apart inside. It's easier to celebrate a promotion than sit with a struggling friend. True vulnerability is disruptive, demanding empathy. The cost of silence is immense, fostering isolation. Breaking this silence is revolutionary. It starts with honest questions and sharing our truths. Connection is worth more than comfort. The path forward begins with self-love. Give yourself permission to stop following the map you were handed and draw your own. Let go of old definitions of success. Redefine what a successful life looks and feels like, on your own terms. What truly brings you joy? Your answers will become the new North Star for your life. This redefinition requires you to disappoint people and let go of expectations. Life is a canvas, and you hold the brush. Align your daily life with your deepest, most authentic truth. Finding your new path does not always require a massive life-altering upheaval. You do not have to quit your job, sell your house, and move to a remote island, unless that is what your soul truly calls for. More often, the journey back to yourself is built on a series of small, consistent acts of rebellion against the old rules. These are quiet, personal choices that begin to chip away at the expectations that have kept you feeling trapped. Each small act is a declaration that you are reclaiming your time, your energy, and your life. They are whispers of defiance that over time grow into a roar of self-possession. A small rebellion can be as simple as saying no. Saying no to a social commitment that you know will drain you. Saying no to taking on an extra project at work when your plate is already overflowing. Saying no to the internal pressure to have a perfectly clean house at all times. Each no is a powerful yes to yourself. It carves out precious space for rest, for joy, and for simply being. Another small rebellion is quitting the comparison game. This might mean unfollowing social media accounts that trigger feelings of inadequacy or setting strict time limits on your scrolling. It is a conscious choice to stop looking sideways and to start looking inward. These rebellions are about reclaiming your autonomy in a world that constantly tries to dictate your choices. It could be taking yourself out on a date, spending an afternoon reading in a park, or blocking out an hour in your calendar for absolutely nothing. It is about proving to yourself that your well-being is a priority, not an afterthought. These acts might seem insignificant on their own, but their cumulative effect is profound. They are microdoses of empowerment. They rebuild your self-trust, reminding you that you are in charge of your own life. Each small choice reinforces the new path you are trying to forge. Think of these small rebellions as training for the bigger decisions. By practicing boundary setting in low-stakes situations, you build the muscle and the courage to make larger, more significant changes if and when they become necessary. You are not just changing your schedule, you are changing your mindset. You are moving from a place of passive acceptance to a place of active creation. The power lies in their consistency. One small rebellious act of self-love each day can slowly but surely transform your reality, leading you out of the fog of shoulds and into the clarity of a life lived on purpose. Navigating this new unmarked territory can be daunting, and you do not have to do it alone. One of the most powerful steps you can take on this new path is to seek a guide. For many, this comes in the form of therapy or counseling. Seeing a therapist is not a sign of weakness or brokenness. It is a sign of strength and a profound act of self-care. A good therapist provides a safe, non-judgmental space where you can unpack the heavy baggage you have been carrying. They can help you identify the roots of the should crisis, untangle the knots of societal conditioning, and give you tools to manage anxiety and burnout. A therapist acts as a skilled and compassionate navigator. They do not give you the answers, but they ask the right questions to help you find your own. They can help you see the patterns in your life that you are too close to notice. They can challenge the limiting beliefs you hold about yourself and offer new perspectives that open up possibilities you had not considered. In that confidential space, you can finally take off the armor. You can speak the unspeakable fears and feelings without the fear of being judged as ungrateful or dramatic. It is a space dedicated entirely to your healing and growth. If therapy is not accessible or does not feel like the right fit, a guide can come in many other forms. It could be a life coach, a mentor, or a trusted spiritual advisor. It could be joining a support group of women who are navigating similar challenges, where the simple act of sharing stories creates a powerful sense of community and validation. A guide could even be a collection of books by authors who speak to your soul, offering wisdom and comfort. The key is to find a resource outside of yourself that can provide perspective, support, and encouragement as you do this difficult but necessary work. Seeking help is a rebellion in itself. It is a rebellion against the myth that you should be able to handle everything on your own. It is an acknowledgement that you are worthy of support and that investing in your mental and emotional well-being is the most important investment you can make. It takes courage to reach out and say, "I need help finding my way." But this act of vulnerability is what opens the door to profound transformation. It is how you turn the isolating experience of being lost into a supported journey of discovery, guided by wisdom and compassion. It is essential to hold on to this truth. The feeling of being lost is not a destination. It is a transitional phase. It is the fog that descends before the landscape changes and the sun comes out again, brighter than before. Many women who have navigated this difficult passage report that their lives after 40 are their most authentic, joyful, and fulfilling. They look back on their 30s not as a crisis to be ashamed of, but as a necessary and transformative crucible. It was the period where they did the hard work of shedding the person they thought they should be in order to become the person they truly were. This hope is not based on a fantasy. It is based on the real lived experiences of women who have walked this path before you. They thrived because they first had to admit they were lost. They had to feel the discomfort, question everything, and have the courage to redefine their lives. The confidence they found on the other side was not the brittle, performative confidence of their earlier years. It was a deep, grounded self-assurance born from self-knowledge and resilience. They learned to trust their own intuition, honor their own needs, and build lives that were in true alignment with their values. The struggles of your 30s are preparing you for this next chapter. The burnout teaches you the non-negotiable importance of self-care and boundaries. The relationship crossroads teach you the value of your own company and the meaning of true partnership. The changes in your body teach you to find a deeper, more compassionate relationship with yourself. The shifts in friendships teach you to be intentional about cultivating community. Every challenge is a lesson in disguise, forging the wisdom and strength you will carry with you for the rest of your life. The fog is not empty, it is full of learning. So, if you are in the midst of this struggle right now, hold on. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Know that this feeling is not permanent. You are in the process of a profound becoming. The work you are doing now, the questioning, the redefining, the small rebellions, is laying the foundation for a future that is more expansive, more joyful, and more authentically you than you can currently imagine. There is so much light at the end of this tunnel. The path you are finding now is leading you not just out of the woods, but toward a beautiful, wide open view. We have journeyed together through the quiet crisis so many women face. We have named the unspoken struggles, from burnout and relationship crossroads to shifts in our bodies and friendships. This exploration was never meant to dwell on the darkness. It is an invitation to a deeper, truer, and more authentic life. It is the courage to stop performing and start living. The path forward is paved with small acts of rebellion and redefinition. This is not selfish, it is essential. Therapy, support groups, and deep conversations are lifelines. Ultimately, this period of feeling lost is a gift. You are being invited to step out of a life that looks good on paper and into one that feels good in your heart. It is the most important invitation you will ever receive. If a single message from this entire essay rings true, let it be this: you are not alone. The feelings of doubt, the anxiety, the sense of being adrift, these are not your individual failings. They are the collective anthem of a generation navigating a complex world. Your story is a shared experience. We can stop blaming ourselves for not being able to effortlessly juggle the impossible expectations placed upon us. The system, not the individual, is what needs to be questioned and redesigned. The path forward is one we walk together, sharing our truths. You are part of a vast community of courageous women finding their way back home to themselves. You are seen, you are understood, and you are not alone.